Hi there, I'm doing this video today to talk about why I no longer worry about what's going on so much around me in the world. Basically, the kind of way that I came to awakening was through a man who I absolutely adore and who most of you will have already heard of, called David Icke. And I think that, when we first sort of wake up and start following people like David Icke, there'll be the sort of kind of political side of things, which is quite easy to understand if you're already sort of awakening on that path and you're sort of taking the information about the powers that be and the tactics of control and the false flags and the chemtrails and all the kind of physical manifestations of the control system that we see around us. And then as David kind of goes a little bit deeper with stuff and starts to talk about the more metaphysical elements, at first it kind of feels very alien to us to actually take on board some of the more some of the ideas that you can't actually see, like the idea of us being locked within the five senses, the idea of us being, sort of controlled on a low frequency range. And as you'll know if you've watched my videos before, I have done some videos talking about the meat industry and the way that I feel that the daily mass slaughter of animals and the links with satanic ritualism actually lower the frequency range of the planet. And energetically, obviously, if you're consuming meat, you are actually consuming the fear, destruction, terror and death of those animals as well. So that's something that I've spoken about. I don't actually know if David Icke is vegan, but I'm pretty sure that he doesn't eat meat. Anyway, going back to what I was talking about, basically, we have all this stuff around us, and I think that the way that David Icke describes it is absolutely fantastic when he says, this is the movie. So the mainstream media promotes fear and terror and hatred and, divide and conquer, and so it sets one group of people against another group of people, and actually it sets, in a way, one species against other species. When you look at the meat industry and animal agriculture and the way animals are actually marginalised and treated within our society. So it sets people against each other, and at the moment, obviously, it's very current because we've got the migrant crisis. Obviously, people are being displaced all over the place because of wars that we have created. And because of situations that we have created, and these people have found themselves with nowhere to be, and they're looking to us for help, obviously in terrible circumstances, but most people are under the impression that we are to fear people of other cultures and people from other countries because they're after what we've got. So they want our jobs. They want to, rape our women. They want to, come over here and, behave badly and create disorder and blah, blah, blah. If you're waking up, then obviously you are at a point where you will have seen through that and you're just like, well, that's absolute rubbish. Borders are completely imaginary, man-made things anyway, because the truth of it is that we are all one, and we are all equal in terms of value on this planet, and we are basically just energy having a human experience. And that brings me sort of to why I no longer worry about these things that are going on, because we are spiritual beings. We're having a human experience in a physical body. The body, as David talks about, is the computer, and the computer reads information in a certain way. So the computer is what enables us to see things as solid when actually they're just a collection of atoms, and that's something that even mainstream science talks about. So the fact that we can touch something in our environment and it feels solid is an illusion. It's nothing other than the way that we, with our five senses, perceive reality around us. But in actual fact, all we are is pure energy, pure love energy, having a human experience. Now, this is not to say that I think that people shouldn't carry on spreading the message about what's going on and waking people up and, kind of advising people on how they can help themselves, because that's the whole point. I mean, once we get the information, We need to share the information so that as many people as possible can become fearless and empowered. So what I'm talking about when I say, I'm rejecting the idea of, paying too much attention to conspiracy theories, this is not because I'm doing people down or saying I don't think that this stuff is important. It's because that is another form of the movie. And the alternative media, although there are some good and reputable sources, there's some really dodgy sources out there as well, spreading a lot of hatred, fear and misinformation. I mean, one prime example of that, I'm not even going to mention names, but there is somebody kind of over the water who is well known for riling up fear within the people that actually follow him. And I feel that there's some racism in there as well, and kind of be frightened of other races, and then you've got crazy people like Donald Trump talking about putting up walls between Mexico and the States so that we can just keep the scary dark people out, and it's absolutely crazy and insane. So of course it's really essential that people carry on spreading the message, because awareness is power, and the way that I see things now is that if you can become conscious of yourself as a spiritual being having a human experience, and you can overcome a lot of the fear-based mentality that goes with focusing on the negative and scary things in the world that we can do absolutely nothing about. I mean, one of them would be, for instance, chemtrails. Chemtrails, we can do nothing about chemtrails. Yeah, it's unfortunate that that's going on. The more that as a collective that we focus on the negative, the more we manifest negativity into our environment. It works exactly the same way in reverse. The more positive we are, the more positive thoughts that we have, the more positive vibration that we exist within, the better experiences we will have, and the better things we will experience as a collective, the more that people embrace the fact that they are pure love energy just having a human experience. And I hear a lot of kind of bad mouthing of the new age, and fucking new age is this, and kind of people putting each other down all over social media, which is why I decided to cut right back on my Facebook profile and basically just use it to spread information through video and the occasional other bit of sharing. But I'm not getting into discussion and posting on Facebook anymore because of the negativity. And words are very, very powerful. That's something that we need to start to understand. Your words are manifesting your reality. Your thoughts are manifesting your reality. There's been some really fascinating studies done with water, where you talk to that water in one way and the molecules will, change to reflect what's being said. So if that's kind of like negative language and kind of dark music with a sort of dark vibration to the music and a dark sound frequency, those molecules will change, and that water is obviously suffering in some way. And the reverse is also true. If you speak to the water in a loving way, and there's beautiful music played and there's positive thought around it, then the molecules change to reflect that positivity. We are 70% water, so we are basically operating in the same way. We are nature. Nature is us. That's something that we have had removed, from our consciousness and from our understanding, and that's reflected in pretty much every thing around us. I mean, the fact that we live in these large kind of houses made of very, very heavy materials, or what appears to be very heavy materials, but in reality it's an illusion, because it's just atoms, as we were talking about. It's just energy. It's just energy manifesting as matter. But these buildings separate us from the natural world. We look to live within kind of overly sterile environments, where we don't allow nature in, too much unnatural light, food that is processed away from its natural form. And that's why I feel so compelled to do these videos, and that I have a big emphasis on natural health and veganism as well, because I understand the energetic value of these things. So basically we need to be looking after the natural environment, understanding that we are part of nature, eating high vibrational foods, so fruit and vegetables, these plant-based diet, this is like high vibrational food, thinking high vibrational loving thoughts, connecting with that loving center within ourselves, and promoting that in the world, and not getting caught up in the movie. And that means the conspiracy movie as well. So the latest false flag attack, the truth of it is that people die within these situations, whether these are set up by the powers that be or not. Talking about that is putting out there negative vibrations, which then are propelled, and they gain momentum and they become more so. So let's kind of get into that loving place and be thinking positive thoughts about each other, sharing with each other in a positive way. If you're getting yourself into loads of kind of negative wrangles over social media, certainly like I was, then consider maybe using it in a different way. And it's really important to look at what is our own part in our experience, because I know that if I'm driving in my car and I'm behaving perfectly fine, and someone says, "Oh, you fucking bitch, get out of the fucking way," I know that that's something that I have put out there earlier in the day, manifesting back at me. And again, in the same way, if I've been thinking loving thoughts, or I've been focusing on something positive that I want, it will manifest in time. Yeah, that's the truth of it. And we need to just relax. I think that relaxing, not giving negative momentum to the things around us that bother us is very, very important. And it's not a case of putting your head in the sand. It's a case of changing your attitude to what you see around you. So not getting all worked up about chemtrails and the idea that we're being poisoned from above. There's nothing we can do about it. Look at changing your diet. Look at, like I said, eating high quality, healthy, high vibrational foods, which will improve your ability to counteract heavy metals and any of the sort of negative, nasty, poisonous stuff that's put out there, and think in a loving way, and reflect that in your relationships with other people, and smile at people, and be kind, and try to be accepting. Because this is something that I struggle with, being vegan, because I do come up against quite a lot of negativity from other people, which is another reason why I've decided to massively tone down my use of Facebook. And that again is that thing, when you are looking to promote quite drastic and dramatic change, there is a backlash. That's basically the way it works. We are always in this kind of state of we've got just so many different elements around us, and we've got the positive and the negative all around us all the time, and it's actually essential that we have that, so that we can actually see the positive and we can make comparison, because that's how the universe works. But if we want more good stuff, we need to be putting more good stuff in. So I hope this has helped people, because I'm not like sitting in judgment in any way. It's just what I see around me and my own experience of waking up, and the initial kind of anger that comes through, and I really felt that was the right thing to be doing, getting angry, shouting all over social media, getting into wrangles with people, trying to force people to change, trying to open people's minds with force, when in actual fact the very process of letting go and allowing things to be as they are is what brings about change when you're coming from a loving place. And yes, by all means, carry on putting out the information, because it's so important. The truth of it is that we are in transition. This is a really interesting time to be living in right now, because we are transcending from this dark age into a golden age. And this is happening. It's got great momentum. Look at the amount of people that are going vegan. Look at the amount of people that are looking to, live their lives in a more ethical way in terms of what they buy. Looking at cutting down their consumption of things that are harmful to the environment. People are becoming much more aware of what's going on. People are starting to think, for themselves more and more. And I see this every day. This momentum is building. So keep that up, but keep it up from a loving place. Don't buy into the movie, stop worrying about the false flags and the chemtrails and all the stuff that's going on. Don't be part of that energy, that negative energy. Just look at it as, yeah, okay, we know that's happening. So what do we do to improve, the health of ourselves, our families, those around us. How do we improve the energy of those in our community, of ourselves, of the world in general, and, understanding that this is all an illusion anyway, and that really we don't need to worry, because we are just pure consciousness. And ultimately, our lives are very short. It's very important that we have some joy during this experience here, because this is what it's all about. It's all about having a wonderful time, with the people that you love, experiencing joy, experiencing that freedom, because so much of it is a state of mind. And I spent, I think, probably the first year after waking up really, really stressed out, angry. I didn't know that that's how I was at the time. I thought I was just active, but now I look back on it, I can see what that was doing to me, really. Anyway, I hope this video has been of interest. Please subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks.